Hello and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me, Megan Hoffmeyer.
It's Aaron Neuwirth, DJ Valentine, Billy Business, and Brendan Peters. This is Nandi Boetes. It's Nathan Leahy. It's David Cross. It's Jake Lewitt. Norbert Morvan. It's Lisa Leahy. Joey Lewandowski. John Levingood. Professor Mike Dillon. Nick Riak. Niall Moore. Adam Youngblood Hutt. Eric Hoffmeyer. It's Johnny Nunn.
Hello and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man who just jacked up with some beast serum. It's Aaron Neuwirth.
I've come here to do two things: talk action movies and fight kaiju. And guess what? I've beaten up my last kaiju today.
Because of the beast serum.
Yeah, damn right.
You know what's crazy? I know how to punch you, so the beast serum just explodes out of your mouth, like in Gladiator Underground.
Oh, that movie will come up again. Don't worry.
I just love, so there's a movie called Gladiator Underground where people fight in a tournament called Gladiator Underground, and these rich guys can spin a wheel, so you get and they have to pay money to spin a wheel, and you could get a knife, you could get like a toothbrush, you could get like a Brillo pad, you could get a concrete block, just whatever.
Yes, but
there's if you spin it, you could potentially get beast serum, which is like an ooze that's handed to you in a bottle, and if you drink it, you just Hulk out.
Yeah,
but it can be punched out of you if you know the right technique, which is basically just a good gut punch.
Yeah.
You know, they made it seem fancy, but if some dude just cold clocked him in the soft part of his belly, it'd be out anyway. All right, we're doing it again, Aaron. Our action movie drafts. We cover a bunch of different years. Aaron just put his hands up in the air like, I don't know what to do.
We got to start this.
So we did the 2024 action scenes. We've done 2015. We've done a lot of years. And 2015 was one of the top 5 most listened to episodes in 2025. That was cool. So you and... it's 3 of us. Oh, Brandon joined us. Yeah. And so it was 3 of us because the summer of 2015. Great episode. But yeah, we're gonna do this. We're just gonna talk about our favorite moments, our favorite action scenes of 2025. We're gonna go back and forth, pick a few, then we're gonna do a lightning round, and then I have the awards.
Okay,
so
good.
State of the end, I have the awards for us. Major business right here. This is like the Hollywood Foreign Press. Like, these are gonna be covered next year on Next Best Picture and Awards Watch. Like, it's just gonna be like Gold Derby is gonna have a whole section on this about Mark's action awards, and there's gonna be like Scott Adkins spin kick in Diablo 2. Like, there's gonna be odds. It's gonna be the biggest thing of 2026. So I'll let you go first, though, Aaron.
Oh boy.
Oh wait, tell me about your podcast.
Yes, okay. I co-host a couple of podcasts. One is called Out Now with Aaron and Abe. It's a weekly show where my friend Abe and I discuss new movies on a weekly basis with various film critics and film fans and what have you. Mark's been on plenty of times, among many others. And yeah, that's a lot of fun. We've been doing that since 2011. It's ridiculous. But the other podcast, of course, is the award-winning Two Black Guys Talk Godzilla, where my friend Terrence Johnson, fellow film critic, and I, we discussed the Godzilla films in chronological order. We discussed all the Showa-era Godzilla films from the 60s, 70s last year, and now we are on season 2, which is covering the Heisei era, covering the films from the 80s and 90s in Godzilla fandom. And not only are we progressing forward with this award-winning podcast, but it's now you can all see it in 2 ways. You can both watch it and listen to it. So if you so desire, you can go onto YouTube and look up Two Black Guys Talk Godzilla, and there we are talking about it as well. That said, if you ever find if any of these episodes have like an image of the movie and then like it's like a cutout of my head and I'm making some kind of stupid face, slap me in the face, because I vowed to not do any of that nonsense. We're on YouTube and I'm not playing into their SEO games. It'll just be there, and if you want it, you got it.
There's entire meetings about those photos. Just like I've written for some YouTube channels and just all about what are the thumbnails? There's entire thumbnail departments.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, you should do it.
I'm not. No,
do it. Just like, Godzilla sucks.
See, you're
at being bad because these are really good.
The very thing you're saying is exactly what I don't want to do. Like, it seems like I'm kidding, but I'm not. I will not do any of this bullshit. I will not play into their games. If you want it, it's there.
You should check out their TikTok with their dances. Like, these guys are going full social influencers. Like, just they're big.
If we had a dance, if
Godzilla.
if Terrence and I did like kid and play house party dance, like over like every credits movie.
but you're in Godzilla costumes.
or it's just the footage in the background.
Do it.
But yeah, that's what I'm up to when I'm not doing the action drafts.
Which is quarterly, I would say.
I'm excited to do the action drafts, but yes,
Yeah, these are fun. These are great. All right, first pick. What do you got? Or first, yeah, you get the first pick. Which action scene are you going for first?
What do I start with here? I mean, you already mentioned Gladiator Underground, so let's just get it out of the way. There's a fight early. There's a lot of. I mean, Gladiator Underground
Which
is
one are you
not
taking?
it's not a film that is has a lack of fights in it. But and I saw this movie. I saw it at the Action Film Festival. In LA in Glendale last year. It was the premiere of the film and everything. The director and the stars were all there. It was great. But there's one film in particular, one fight scene in particular, featuring actor Brian Lee, who is like he's like a bigger guy, but he's scrappy and fast.
Tank.
And he's like a tank. He's in this upcoming movie called The Furious, which is incredible. That I can't like. It didn't come out last year, and that's unfortunate, but it's coming soon, and people on this show know Professor Mike Dillon, I believe, right? Yeah. We both agreed it's like the best like fight movie since the Raid films, as far as like hand to hand combat. It's so good. Regardless, though, he's in that movie. He's in this movie, Gladiator Underground, and there's a fight in particular. Not only does he win the fight, but he wins it and proceeds to bite the guy's ding dong off. And it's like, you don't get a lot of that in in movies. But when a guy's biting your ding dong off, you're like, oh, that really added an extra flavor.
I had to rewind it because
dimension.
Okay, so Brian Lee in the movie, he's a killer. He's hired. He has a whole backstory, whatever. He's a murderer.
But when he runs, he like crawls. Like he like crawls fast instead of just like running at you. He'll like crawl at you. It's great.
Just a brawler, murderer with a backstory, redeemable guy. But there's this, there's a guy laying on the ground. He does a handstand, and then just bites the guy's like you eloquently said, ding dong off. And you're watching it and you're going, did he just bite his ding dong off? Like because he never really lets you in on that beforehand. Like
it's not like he strategizes like, if I win this one, I'm gonna bite that guy's ding dong. It just more or less happens in the moment. Adrenaline.
I feel like that's something you talk about. I feel like you're known for that, though. I feel like that's
just that's your move.
Yeah, that doesn't just casually happen in a fight.
Yeah, you better watch out for that guy. He bites ding dongs.
right. Like if you're just in a random street fight one night and Aaron, you just do the same thing, everybody around you would be like, you took it too far, bro. Like that's, I know it's like a no rule street fight against a group of baseball bat wielding furies, but no one saw that coming.
It's pretty intense, but yeah, he goes for it. I mean, the film itself is like a very good version of what a live action Mortal Kombat movie could be, essentially, or a Street Fighter even. As far as these underground battles, they have little items and power ups and what have you. This is literally a fatality. Like you watch this guy do, it's certainly not a friendship. Yeah, maybe a brutality because it's pretty intense. But yeah, I mean the fights in general in this movie are pretty awesome, like throughout the movie. And this one's there might be even more elaborate fights in the grand scheme of things, Gladiator Underground, because it's not by any means the final fight. However, if we were talking about action scenes that stuck with me all year, the one where Brian Lee bites the guy's big is pretty high up there on the list. So.
Yeah, I agree. Anytime something happens in a movie, did he just bite his ding dong off? That's like there's double flasks in this movie. There's beast serum. There's a lot going on. But yeah, that's the most memorable bit. Yeah, for sure.
It's pretty. Yeah.
All right. Well, what was the name of the action festival you were at?
It was the big bad film festival. That's what it's called. Yeah.
So I'm going to promote a movie from that as well. I wasn't there, but I love Prisoner of War.
Oh yeah.
And so Scott Adkins
I saw it the same night. It was a double feature. Yes.
Scott Adkins plays a posh British pilot, like an RAF pilot, who gets shot down over an island in Japan and is caught and becomes a prisoner of war after killing a lot of people. And like then he randomly lands on the one island that has a bunch of underground fights, and then he just obliterates people, which is first I was a little annoyed that his plane got shot down. I'm like, Scott Adkins, but then like the plane can't kick people, so that's fair. Like if Scott Adkins was flying by himself and got shot down, I'd be bummed. But if a plane, it's not his fault; it's the plane's fault. So I'm going to give him a pass on that. I'm just going to put that out there.
Tracks, yeah.
But there's this scene where after killing all these guards, there's this like, of course, there's like this really big Japanese soldier who comes out. I think it's Corporal Hirano, I believe his name is, but he's just a huge guy, and he just steamrolls 3 of the prisoners, just kills them, brutalizes them. The guy's just like jacked too, just like huge out of his mind. So in walks posh James Wright, who's a British soldier who knows, kung fu, and he knows karate because he lived all around the world. He steps in to fight this guy, and it's not much of a fight, but there's nothing that makes me happier than just like a one punch, like KO of a guy that you think is unstoppable. And then Atkins just sidekicks him right in the chest, just ends the fight, right? Pretty much just kills him with a kick. And it's just like, I love this movie so much because the baddest dude on the island just got destroyed by Scott Adkins with one kick. And I love that scene. So yeah, I'm going to do when posh RAF pilot James Wright sidekicks a tough dude into oblivion.
Pretty good. I do like that film quite a bit. It's a fun way to be like, how do we, what do we do with Scott Adkins in World War II? We're just like become POW as the fight. Like, all right,
it's so silly, but it looks good. And you know what I like too is Louis Mandylor directed it.
Yeah,
But they try in this one. There's angles and camera work and overhead shots.
It's a good,
and like,
it for a movie that like, because of the limited locations, like, okay, like you can, it's like, yeah, clearly there's not a huge budget here, so what do we do with this? So we just like, just kind of mix it up with how we shoot the fights and make sure Scott Adkins just keeps wailing on people and like no one can get a hit in.
I love that scene though. I have a thing called like don't mess with Scott Adkins. Like it's just stop messing with him. Like y'all stop. Like just you will be much better off if you just let him go. Just let him go. You'll be fine. Just let him go. But everyone's like, no, honor, and I can't. Like, just let Scott Adkins go. That's all I'm saying. And Statham. And Liam Neeson's back in the day. And most of the 80s action heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Let him go. All right, what's your second pick?
A second pick, what should I go with here? I'm gonna throw in Ballerina.
Which
I
one?
I got a couple options here. But ultimately, I have to go with the one that really stuck with me, which is the flamethrower fight. I'm like fine with Ballerina. Like I don't think it's measures up to the John Wick films. That said, I think there are a couple of creative action sequences. I don't know if you're going to get back to some of them later on, and we'll speed around it anyway eventually, so they'll get mentioned. But specifically, the flamethrower battle where you have not one but 2 people with flamethrowers equipped and trying to kind of outflame each other. And I just hadn't seen anything like that before. It's one thing to get a flamethrower in an assassin's hands and let him go to town on people, but it's another thing to be like, oh, there's someone else that also has a flamethrower and a killer flamethrower poncho, so they could both be like shooting flame bursts at each other and like dipping and diving out of the way, locking flamethrower together while they're like trying to, as if they're like locking guns or swords together instead of flamethrowers. And it just looks like it's impressively shot. Ana de Armas, like the work being done to make it seem like she's in these scenes or at least participating as much as possible, I think is well handled, and it just looks great. I mean, I can say what I will about the movie itself, but the John Wick films and this this universe always is. It's very admirable for like just the use of color and the looks of these things, so they like actually feel like stylized movies that have a pulse as opposed to like, hey, what if we have a bland gray background again? Wouldn't that be fun? So like this one, at least, between the flames and the kind of chilly setting that they're in this, what is it, like a Austrian town or something like that at this point? It's just, it's really good looking. And again, flamethrowers, 2 of them. That's pretty cool.
The story's nondescript. It's a boring story. The villains are boring, but there's about 5 moments in this movie that I was like, yes. And they've stuck with me too. The grenade bit, the car that got hit and dragged back, the cold club. Like there's some legit fights in this movie. Also, the fight with Wick, I think, is handled well. I don't want to spoil anything, but like, it's a good, well thought out scene. And like you said, it's nice watching Ana de Armas in the shots, and she put in the work, and I love it. Oh, and like, a flamethrower fight is great for overhead shots, and there's some legit overhead shots that go on during that. Yeah, I love it. That's it. I love it. I bought it. I was like, oh, because I like these scenes. It makes me happy. I can just fast forward all the Gabriel Byrne stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, here we go. This is not okay. I don't care. I think the moment of 2025 that gave me the most visceral, not visceral, I just felt it and I knew it and I understood it. Even though it was meant to be a joke, the tummy punch from Naked Gun,
I knew this would come up.
when Frank fights Richard. So there's a final fight in this movie. It's between Liam Neeson's and John Huston. John Huston?
Danny Houston.
Yeah, Danny Houston. There's so many Houstons. I knew that. Danny Houston. He plays a
He's
guy
not
called
fighting
Richard.
John Houston from Chinatown.
So Danny
I'm
Houston.
your dad.
So they're square off. He's like, we're a couple of like great Kodiak bears about to fight. And this guy Richard, he's playing this billionaire tech guy called Richard. They're maybe like a takeoff of like Elon Musk, but he throws this really terrible kick, and Neeson just levels him in the belly, and he goes, "You punched me in my belly." And he goes, "Amazing! Oh wow! You hit my belly, the soft part of my belly. What the hell?" And he goes, "I'm gonna barf." And he goes, "No more fighting. My tummy still hurts a lot." And the reason I was gonna pick this first, but I went with Scott Adkins first. But this is my favorite probably moment of 2025 because that had happened to me before. I used to carry boxing gloves in my trunk in my car, and I would drive around whoever wanted to box. So alleys, backyards, wherever. If you wanted to box me, I would show up.
Sounds like you. Yeah.
And I was in a front yard of a house. I really remember this. There's like the porch, and we were about like right in front of the porch boxing. And I boxed this other senior, this other guy, tank of a dude. Like we're boxing, and I don't really ever think I thought about it, like hitting a body shot. I was just swing for the head, hope for the best. And he hit me, Aaron, with a stomach, like a tummy shot that gave me the same reaction. I wanted to puke. I folded over. I fell on the ground. I wasn't angry about it though. I was like, that was a good one. I was like, now I can actually do that in the future. It's like, it was like a learning experience for me, but it was probably the two hardest times I've ever been hit is when I got hit that time. And when I thought my jaw was off my face. So it wasn't, I got hit really hard. Mm-hmm. And so that one though, I remember just dropping. And so even though that moment's played for laughs and it's hilarious, like you punch with the soft part I'm going to barf. Oh, wow. Like, ow, like it's perfect. And it's very funny, but it also, if you know. And so like, not only was it hilarious, but I could totally understand why a fight would be over with just that punch. And so I love it so much. It's just so funny. And it's actually so true. Like if a large Liam Neeson's punched you in the gut, it's going to hurt a lot, Aaron. And I just love that scene. So yeah, that's my number 2 pick.
All right. Glad you got it out of your system.
I feel better now.
All right. I'm going to throw in The Prosecutor.
Yeah. I watched that scene today.
Are we talking about the subway fight?
Yes. Right?
Yes. Okay. So The Prosecutor is a Donnie Yen film. He directed it too, right? Right? Am I right?
Let me look.
Yeah, he did. It's one of, and I think by default it's his best effort as a director as well. He's done his share, but I tend to not be the biggest fan of like his directorial efforts, but this one I think was pretty kick-ass. He plays like a former cop who like wants to really get these guys, he really wants to get convictions or whatever. He's just like, all right, I'm hanging up my cop life. I'm going to become a part of the Department of Justice, be a public prosecutor. But of course, he gets dragged into like some case that involves reasons for him to get into like lots of brawls throughout the movie, and it kicks ass. But there's this one like final bit where he's trying to get a key witness to the stand like in time for a case, and so he's like dragging him across town, which eventually requires him to go into the subway, and all the bad guys are following him into the subway, and so we get to this prolonged sequence of him fighting in a subway car against a bunch of people using knives and hammers and guns. And Donnie Yen is just like the staging of this is so well done as far as like watching it play out in this claustrophobic space with cameras like moving in and around him and stuff. It's like there's whatever trickery they're doing, it's really effective because it conveys the space without like betraying the fact that they're in a subway car. And there's all these like mix of battles, right? There's like 2-on-1s, 3-on-1s. Eventually, there's a couple 1-on-1s that are very intense. There's like one guy I think that's set up, if I recall, it's been about a year since I watched the movie, but there's like one guy that I believe is set up early on as being like a pretty badass, where it's like
the cigarette guy.
Yeah, he's like, how are we gonna fight this guy? And eventually get to that scene where it's like, well, now it's just Donnie Yen versus this one guy, and like the lights have been cut out at this point and everything too, so it looks all cool. And it's like, damn it, he's doing it. He's fighting this guy. And it's like, there's just a lot of really well choreographed stuff going on in the sequence. There's a bit with a hammer that's pretty cool, where like
Yeah.
Donnie Yen's trying to like grab a gun, and the hammer guy keeps coming at him, and like getting the gun out of the way. So like, it's really well done. Donnie Yen is what is he like in his 60s at this point? Like yeah, he's 62, and like he's just not slowing down. He makes it look good. He's wearing a suit through much of this fight as well because he's a lawyer. He's got to put on a powdered wig the second he gets into the room, which is like that's fun. They still do that. But yeah, no, this subway fight in Prosecutor, I think is pretty fucking top notch.
The camera work, you're right. They know how to film it. They know how to like they know the angles. They know when to pull up for a wide shot. When he
Hmm.
finishes off that hammer guy with that knee, I
Yeah,
mean that's a gorgeous. And then they show him jumping back and forth between the seats on the train, and it's a
hmm,
really excellent showcase for him and his team. I love
yeah.
that so much. Yeah, it's a great scene. Okay, I don't think you've watched this movie yet, but there's a fight. I think my favorite action film of the year. I think this is my second favorite film of the year after Ephes, but it's Baby Assassins 3.
Hmm.
And I'm not going to talk about the final fight, but there's a fight that takes place between minutes 11 and 18 that is just incredible. So, our buddies, our ninja assassins, they're on this vacation, and they went to kill people, but they're trying to enjoy themselves, and they go to kill this guy because they're assassins. But there's another assassin there trying to kill the same guy that they're trying to kill. And they kind of just want to let this guy kill this person, but if they let that happen, the guilds get angry. So this fight breaks out. And if you've watched these before, this Mahuro, she's just an absolute beast. And her and this assassin guy named KD, they have this brawl where I can't explain it, but it's like one of the it's just it's it's she's trying to shoot her. There's one gun. He's trying to shoot her, but they're moving all over the place. They're fighting in a hallway. They're fighting another scene. She goes to do this like headbutt on her. He moves out of her headbutt, then headbutts her. She's falling to the ground. It's just there's a couple moments in this that blow my mind every time I watch it, and it's just an expertly staged fight, and it leads to this gorgeous 17-minute final fight in the film. But yeah, I think there's the first meeting between the two is like kinetic, and it just shows the director flexing and the action choreographer and the director flexing all their muscles after three, actually four, because they worked on this movie Ghost Killer together, which is a lot of fun as well. So this is like their fourth film really working together, and you could just feel it. You can just feel that they've matured. The camera work is good. The actors are good. They know what they're doing, and it's beautifully staged. So yeah, Baby Assassins 3, the like well, it's not the second major, yeah, the second big fight because they kill another group first. But yeah, the second fight is awesome. So that's my pick.
Yeah, I really got to catch up with the Baby Assassin series. They like sound like super fun. I just haven't got around to them yet, but I certainly want to check them out for
Oh
sure.
my gosh, so good.
Do you like? Is there I mean, it seems like you really like three a lot. Do you have a favorite of these or?
Well, so you know what's unique is they're all so different. The first one is
Okay.
wildly low budget, and
Hmm.
it's just the two of them on their couch a lot, just complaining because it's the plot is they're these Japanese assassins, but they need to have day jobs because the Japanese guilds are not really worried about other people killing them. They're worried about the Japanese like IRS catching them.
Hmm.
So they put them in these apartments, but these two psychopaths who have been raised to murder people have to like work jobs to pay rent and have like money that they can turn in for like the taxes so they don't get caught, so they can kind of launder money and not get caught by the Japanese IRS. So it's just the two of them being stressed about money. And there's a really good final fight, but it's super scrappy. The second one, they really step it up, and they're fighting these kind of pair of brothers or these partners. There's a beautiful close quartered fight, and then it ends with a really strong fight as well. But I think it's more of like them finding their footing, but it becomes less of like a couch movie. It becomes less like there's a big charm to the first one of this, the two of them being slackers and murdering people, and then it becomes kind of that plus more action in the second one. And a third one, there's still the goofy charm between the leads, but it's more of a straightforward action film.
Got it.
So you'll feel the evolution. You love the characters, but they're like, I think the actors, it had to get shot for so low budget, and now they're getting budgets. So I think the first one was a great calling card. The second one was like, oh, okay, they're getting better. The actors are getting better. And the third one, you're just like, holy mackerel. So they're connecting now on this. So that's how I would break down the franchise.
Okay, good to know.
What's your pick? What's your fourth
All
pick?
right, my next pick, I'm gonna go with the fairy fight in Nobody 2.
Yeah.
um, I think Nobody 2 is a very fun action sequel to an already fun action movie. I think for the most part, while there's like narrative satisfaction that provides a level of amusement for the fights in Nobody, I think the fairy fight specifically is like the one that actually leans into the humor of the scenario in a way that like a Charlie Chaplin or a Buster Keaton film would, as
Ah.
far as the kind of silent movie comedy that comes out of the physicality. Like the rest of the fights, like they're fun and you can laugh because it's like, look at this is nuts. Bob Odenkirk's kicking ass again. But I think the fairy fight specifically because of the way it's shot where it's like there's literally a tour going on a ferry and in the back of this ferry are like four guys fighting each other. There's just like there's an inherent humor that's very obvious about those fights as opposed to like the kind of winking like isn't it cool seeing RZA and Christopher Lloyd like fighting people. This is just like a full-on comedy set piece that happens to have really cool choreographed action on a ferry, so like it does the job. It's very enjoyable. It it's got once again like the choreography is solid. Like you have to do a number of things to kind of convince people that you're on a moving boat and making these hits seem real with various obstacles like lifesavers and oars and things like that that kind of like convince you of the scene while at the same time, you know, having fun. Like it does the job. I think it's a standout scene in a movie that has a number of like very creative set pieces in mind.
Bless Timo Gianto because
Yes.
it's fun. You're right. That's interesting. It's not like the bus fight in the first one was really well executed and surprising, but yeah, you're right. This one sort of leans into the humor of the situation and the way the tourists are playing it up and not
Yeah.
hearing about what's going on. And
Which is, I think that's key to the Nobody movies. That for the most part, the fighting it like, yes, there's a novelty to the idea that it's Bob Odenkirk, average guy who's become this fighting guy, and like that in itself is fun. But the fight scenes themselves in the rest of these movies they're rarely designed to like to like be funny. You know what I mean? Like there's a distinct difference there. So this one's like one that's actually trying to be funny. And it is like they succeed. So there you go.
I love it. Okay, I'm gonna go with the fight in Splitsville between Paul and Carrie
Good. That was on my list. I need
because
to put it somewhere. So.
you just did. I didn't see the trailers. I hadn't watched a trailer for this movie.
Okay.
I don't know if they showed the fight in the trailer. So I
You
just
see this? There's a slow mo. You see the slow mo shot. That's it. You don't see the
okay
context of it, but you see that there's a slow mo shot of them falling out the glass at one point.
into the pool, right? Is that
Yeah.
yeah? But it's like how to explain it? It's about this two best friends. One of them is getting divorced. The other one's in a open marriage with like, it's hard, but eventually this guy finds out this one guy slept with his wife and he's mad even though they're in an open marriage and blah blah blah. But a fight breaks out. But it starts with a slap, and the guy's like, "Sorry," as a reflex, and then he slaps him again. But then they start fighting more, and I think Paul puts Carrie into a full Nelson. They're like, full Nelsons are illegal, and but then you get broken tables, you get biting, like no biting, and you just like people get kicked out from under them. There's a
There's a
pile driver in it, and probably one of the funniest moments of the year. They both pull knives, and they go, no knives.
exactly. Yeah. They both realize we can't do this. Like, we need to stop. The escalation here is too far. We can both agree on that. Let's keep fighting each other.
but then they keep going.
Yeah.
And so like there's broken tables, or this guy hurts his leg, but then someone rolls down the stairs and there's silence. And he's like, I'm sorry. But then they fight again, they roll over a bed. But it becomes really funny when they destroy this fish tank. And so they team up to fill up this bathtub to put the fish in there. But there's this great point when there's one fish that kind of stings one of the guys. He's like, that one sucks, leave it. But then he tries to like burn him, like drown him in the tub. Then a guy gets his face burnt and gets his eyebrows taken off. And then they fall from the second floor into a pool. But it's just a really insane fight. And like the cool thing is that what Michelangelo Covino and Kyle Marvin, they did most of the fight. Like they did a lot of the stunts. So you can just see them in the frame. Like they actually recreated the pile driver on the red carpet for the movie. And like I think they planned it really well, but it also feels very improvised. But then everything in the house is expensive. They already build that. So when everything gets destroyed, you're like, how much is that? How much is that? It's just the production design, the fight. It's just a great time, and it's really funny. So I'm going to take the brawl in Splitsville.
Good
Yeah,
scene.
yeah, great scene. Yeah,
How many of these are doing?
I don't know, 7, and then we'll go to the fast round.
All right, well, we just knock this out then. Mission Impossible, The
Yeah.
Final Reckoning, the biplane chase. I mean, there's two obvious set pieces in this movie that are just spectacular, and I'm gonna go with the biplane chase because, like, dude's on a biplane, like the any number of things you're watching, whether you're watching the movie or just like the B-roll of them shooting this thing. Like, even when you leave in all the harnesses and the like various green screen stuff out, the stuff that gets erased, you're still watching Tom Cruise like at ridiculous heights doing these things that look spectacular. You're watching, I mean, you have him being like, I want to do a thing where the plane spins, therefore I have to spin inside of the wings. And it's like, my goodness, like, he's doing it. He's like, he's in zero G spinning inside of the wings of a biplane at thousands of feet in the air. Or I want to transfer from one biplane to the other biplane. And
Oh,
like, again, whether regardless, even like without the movie part of it where it looks really incredible, just watching him do the stunt while harnessed and like everything else, it still looks incredible. You're watching him do this thing. You're watching him act like a stunt performer in like the 20s, like, doing knocking this thing out just for the sheer point of our entertainment. And then add to that, after they got all the footage for the biplane sequence that took so much time, they're like, okay, now we got to do all the parachuting. And then like what? They have like a Guinness Book of Record for the most like parachutes set on fire in like one skydiving session or something nuts like
oh,
that. I mean, it's ridiculous. But the final product, if we're talking about the movie itself, where it's this whole sequence of Tom Cruise has to get to the Esai Morales' character and like get a thing off his neck and do all this stuff. And just the build up to it as far as like there's the one biplane almost, he can't catch it, then another one runs him over, but he catches onto it, then he's in the air, then he's chasing he knocks one pilot out, knocks him out of the thing, gets in the biplane, they get into a whole chase. I mean, like it's a whole deal. Like I love it. I love these aerial things that he's doing. Fallout obviously had the incredible helicopter chase. This has a dual biplanes with the logic of like, yeah, one's red, one's yellow. Why not? Like, who cares? That's just how it rolls. You gotta see, you gotta tell which one's which. That's how it rolls. And it just, yeah, it's great filmmaking. I know there's a contingent out there that's not like super satisfied with Dead Reckoning or Final Reckoning, but I like Final. I was a big fan of Final Reckoning. I saw it a couple times in theaters. I think it just looks phenomenal.
like
I
how
think
you watch those scenes and then just leave the theater angry. Just you're not seeing that anywhere else. Like
yeah,
this is Tom Cruise taking all of his power to make audiences happy by putting himself in immense danger and creating, that submarine, that thing. If we're talking about the submarine scene, that thing didn't even fit in the tank the first time around. They had to make the
yeah,
tank bigger,
they did build a new tank.
and so it's insane. Like they're out there doing these things for audiences. I think some people, you see these scenes that are ego driven, but I just think with Tom Cruise, he wants to entertain people and push things, and
Yeah,
that's
I,
like
I I get that. I get that from him as well. And it's very satisfying to watch. That's for sure.
I,
Um,
I would say there's two major butt clenching moments of 2025. And can I
mm,
pick? Are you done with this pick? Do you want to
I'm
talk
done
about it
with
more?
this. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna take like just scenes where I felt like my heart rate was racing and I felt really stressed out. That's definitely the chase, the plane chase in Final Reckoning. And I'm gonna go with the final 3 laps in F1 the movie. I
Mm,
know it's not a fight, but holy moly. I mean, it's a race. Like they're chasing each other. But just the way that JP and Sonny are acting like raptors. You have this gorgeous score by Zimmer. You have Claudio Miranda's cinematography. Joseph Kaczynski, he worked with Cruise on Top Gun Maverick. So I wanted to take this one afterward. There's kind of that thread there. But just you feel them in the car. And at the end, and flying, he's not driving, he's flying. But like that line kind
mhm.
of wanted me to like, but those final 3 laps, I don't think I've felt more just like I said, like just you're just clenched. You're like, oh my gosh, like it's no wonder it got nominated for Best Picture. I know that there's some films that people think probably could have gotten more love, but I also think when it comes to just big commercial entertainment, that this one put it together, and those final 3 laps are gorgeous.
No, I entirely agree, and I don't begrudge that movie being a Best Picture nominee at all. I mean, it's a movie that, for what, not only is it commercially satisfying and what have you, but also it was well reviewed. It's not
Yeah.
like people gave, it's not like it was a poorly reviewed film that like people just wanted to see. Like, it's a movie that did get the appreciation that I think it earns for what it's doing. But yeah, I mean, as far as the racing goes, and specifically the final laps, like it plays a lot of expectations as far as like what's going to happen. Is it going to be Sunny like allows himself to lose so the new guy wins, or the other way around, that kind of thing, which is like whatever, cliche, it doesn't matter. It's just like how you're feeling in this thing is what matters most. But the strength of knowing how F1 works to the T at this point, like that's my favorite thing about F1, the fact that it taught me how F1 works, where it's not just like
Tires.
yeah, tires and just like, certain strategy as far as how to like just be on these laps with other cars. It's not just about, being the first across the finish line. There's tactics you can take and whatnot. I really like seeing like how that played an integral role in showing me like why this matters. Getting to this final lap area, yeah, you have these two that have finally kind of come together as far as being a team. Imagine that. And but you watch it all play out and you get that whole like Sonny's dream being realized as far as like he's just he's just flying, right? There's no like there's nothing that's bothering him as far as like he's just like he's doing it. He's doing his
Yeah.
thing. And you get to see that in action along with just all the pyrotechnics about the setting they're in, and all the other cars on display. It's just it's a like it doesn't quite match like Top Gun Maverick as far as like the way that spectacle plays out in the grandest of ways. But like for if we're gonna do it, if we did Top Gun and now we're doing a Days of Thunder riff, it's a pretty good follow up.
Yeah.
Like it does the job. So
Man, it just he's and like just the casting so good and
I'm a big fan of Damson Idris too. Like
yeah.
I so want him to like I loved Snowfall, the show he was on FX for a long time, and now seeing him get like a big juicy role in a big summer blockbuster, I hope that just means more for him because I think he's a very good actor. So.
And I think too, he's really good, but and also Brad Pitt though, he utilizes every ounce of his star power in
Very
this
much
movie.
so. It was
Like
very much a
he
charm factor thing here.
yeah,
Yeah.
like but it's like everything he's learned is in this. And I just yeah, but those final three just clenched and I love it. I love it so much. All right, what's your next pick?
Um,
So many.
how many more we got?
How many have you done? Five?
I've done one, two, three, four, five, I believe. Yes.
Okay, so we'll get two each, then lightning round, then the awards.
Two each. Okay, so leave one for the end here. Let me go for another one here. Oh, okay, I'll go with this. I like this quite a bit. Or no, I'll go with this instead. Sorry. There's
No.
like now I have three that I want to do. The early fight and ambush in Avatar when the Fire Clan comes out, like they're out
Yeah.
like all the Jake Sully and his family, they're on the big David Thewlis's UPS system from Pandora, where he's taking these giant like jellyfish monsters that fly across and ship things around Pandora to different tribes. And it's like that's cool in itself. There's this DHL system of Pandora monster creatures that are flying across, and these like giant blimp aliens that like carry things around. And then the fire tribe attacks, right? And it's a killer ambush because it's basically like watching like Mad Max in the air, where you see this fire clan come and they're on their winged beasts and they're flying around attacking, and you have Jake and his people like, okay, now we got to fight back. So it's a mix of dog fights between the flying things, the banshees and whatnot, which is cool. But then you have them like on the ground or on the blimps as well, and they're fighting off these guys, and then you get that whole scene where like Jake is like on top of like the blimp itself, and the guy
Yeah.
tries to blow up the blimp, and then he's like sliding around. It's like it's just I'm a huge proponent of all the Avatar films. I do think the finale of Fire and Ash, while not unimpressive, just becomes a bit repetitive in terms of it feels like it's combining the final battles of one and two into one like mega battle, which in theory is not the bad idea, but at the same time you're like, well, I kind of know the beats of where this is going.
Hmm.
But this early fight scene where it's just like, yeah, this new clan I've never seen before, on top of these aliens I've never seen before, having this, air Mad Max battle. I'm like, give me this. This is great. I love all this happening right now. So yeah, it's James Cameron knows a thing or two about action
Yeah,
sequences, and
yeah.
so yeah, he's able to deliver pretty well in in this
Just
sequence. There's plenty of action in the Avatar. I love Fire and Ash. There's a lot. I mean, say what I will about that whole final sequence, it's still very visually impressive to watch. Like things go. I mean, there's even more whales.
those
I mean,
demon
there's
squids.
there's more there's demon squids and there's more demon squids ahoy, and then there's more of the Tolkun, and then there's the whole flying battle on the rocks, which I'm like, the
Yeah.
second you introduce flying rocks into a world, I'm like, there needs to be a fight on these things. That's crazy, and they deliver on that. It's very satisfying. But yes, the like the blimp attack is what I'll go for this one.
Great pick. So we went with like one of the biggest movies. I'm gonna
Uh-huh.
go for one of the smaller ones, and that's Diablo. And it's
Okay.
when El Corvo, played by Marco Zorar, who's
Hmm.
incredible, watch Fist of the Condor, fights Scott Adkins for the first time.
Oh, the
But I
first
just
one.
love it so
Okay.
much because so Marco Zorar walks into this bar and he's going after this girl, and everyone in the bar tries to fight him, but he has a metal hand
Yeah.
and like a knife, and he just steamrolls everybody in this place. Like it's brutal how bad he beats men, women. Like they're all security guards, and they're just getting the tar beat out of them. But he punches Buddy Bill. He licks blood off his like of a faces, and then Atkins comes crashing through a door, and Atkins kind of looks at him like, "Uh oh." And the fight he messes up. Zorar has this crazy haircut in the movie, and he gets his glasses knocked off a little bit. And it's just gigantic Marco Zorar with his glasses all askew with a metal hand. But then they're like throwing beer. He throws a beer bottle, and like Zorar punches it, and it's just this awesome scrap between the two of them. And it's like you, as an action fan, there's not much more you could hope for. You just have this film. It was the same director as just the Condor too, which I love. But like these two guys are just legends, and they fought. They were together in Undisputed 3 or 4. They were in John Wick 4 as well, but not together. But just to watch the two of them battle in this bar, and it goes all over the place too. And I don't know, it's whenever Marco Zarar fights somebody in a movie, you worry for them. But he has a metal hand in this one, and you're more worried. So it's just he's playing this. He based his character off Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men, and it's
Correct.
just amazing. And I love the fight in Diablo so much. So I'm
All
gonna
right.
take that one.
Very good. That movie rocks too.
Yeah,
That's a
it
good.
does. It
I
rules.
like that one quite a bit. Um, who's the right? Is it? It's not Jesse James, right? Who is it?
No, here, let me pull it up.
Is it the guy that? No, because he did Condor.
Chilean guy. Let me pull it up. His name
Is it the
is
guy that did Fight of the Condor?
yeah, Ernesto Diaz Espinoza.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and he had Fist of the Condor,
He
which is
did
one of my.
Fist of the
Y'all
Condor.
know me.
Yeah.
I love that movie
Yeah. That
so
movie
much.
rocks.
Yeah, that movie's awesome.
Okay. One more.
Get one more each, then fast and awards, or lightning round then awards.
Okay. I'm gonna go with just my what's I mean ostensibly probably my favorite action scene. It's certainly the one. I mean, there's another one that because we have some awards going through, so I'm trying to like not mix these two things together. But as far as like just my like probably favorite action scene of the year, one of my favorite like movie moments of the year, it's the one battle after another rolling hills car
Yeah,
chase,
yeah.
the
You can get a toy
finale.
set now from SNL.
Yeah. The endless hills. I just think this whole climax is pretty spectacular. I mean, the movie is my favorite movie of the year, so I mean, it doesn't hurt to have like a scene from that just reflects like how good PTA can like do this stuff if he really wants to. And that's what I love about One Battle After Another. It's very much a PTA movie. It's just like, okay, yeah, you want to give what if we gave me like, an exorbitant amount of money and I'll show you what I can do with that, and it's just the same as I do with my other movies. I make this weird, quirky character comedy that has like exciting set pieces and great performances from my actors. And this film, which, you can call it what you want, it's like ostensibly an action comedy. Like that's kind of what the movie is. But it has this just glorious final chase sequence that's basically between three cars, where you have Chase Infinity's character, who plays Leonardo DiCaprio's daughter. She is trying to get away from like this madness that she's just escaped from because Sean Penn tried to like sell her to some mercenaries to kill her. And so she's managed to get out of that scenario. And now she's just trying to drive the hell out of there. Then you have this other guy who's an assassin for the Christmas Adventurers Club, and
Great
he's already
casting too.
tried to
I love
take.
that. I don't know who that guy is, but I like him. Not
It's a
as like a
great.
human in the character. Not as like I don't like the character, but I think his casting was great. I
No,
don't
it's
know.
a perfect. It's a good face for like a guy that's like a blue collar guy that is a white supremacist, or like, sorry, a white collar guy who's like a white supremacist, but has to have like a nondescript face where he's both like not necessarily like evil by looking at him, but at the same time, you're like, I don't know about this guy. There's just like, it's everything combined to like
Yeah.
make this the perfect kind of casting choice. But so he's just taking care of Sean Penn. Now he's after Chase Affinity's character. Meanwhile, Leo's trying to find his daughter. So he's involved in this chase as well. And this sequence is shot like in like I think it's just like Inland Empire, but it's like in the California deserts on these rolling hills, and because it's shot in VistaVision, the verticality is so impressive to watch on a giant screen because it's not just like as opposed to other car chases where it's a matter of dodging out of the ways of cars and whatnot stuff in the road. This is all about distance. It's all about closing a gap between cars. That's the goal of this sequence, as far as one car is trying to get away, but another's closing in on them, and then there's a third car closing in on both of them. And watching these cars going over these hills and the way the camera's mounted on like the right on the hood, so you like really get a like a just a front view of these cars like just going up and down and up and down over these hills, let alone these giant wide shots where because of the nature of the hills, you get scenes where like one car's way at the top of the screen, the other car's way at the bottom of the screen. It's so tense and thrilling to watch and like creatively shot in ways that you haven't seen before when it comes to car chases. And God knows that we've seen a lot of ways you could shoot car chases. So this is like finding something new to do with it is wild. Plus you have the Johnny Greenwood score, which I think is just so perfect in this film.
Stress bomb.
And it just really it maximizes tension while also being again a Johnny Greenwood score, meaning it's like nothing you've ever heard before. And then it just finds a way to conclude that's just built on intelligence of character. That's great. Like
Best
it's not
parked car
something
of 2025.
exactly. Yeah, it's not something over elaborate. It's just a I'm understanding the geography that I'm having to work with. So if I do this move, I can stop here and then I can ambush the guy because he won't see this coming. And it works. But it's like because of everything that's gone on in this film, not only does it work, but like you're feeling the emotion of the scene as well. So like Chase Infinity like manages to take this guy down and she gives out a primal scream because, yeah, what the hell else are you gonna do? You've just avoided death from, four different people trying to kill you, and it's like just has to let it all out. And that's not even the end of the scene. DiCaprio still has to get there and realize what's happened. He has his like sonic trait sensor or whatever, so he can like tell that he's near his daughter. Yeah, I've seen this movie like 4 times now, and it gets me every time when it's like
When he
she's
parks and
pointing
walking up.
He's walking up slowly.
Oh,
She's pointing a gun, and like they're all about code words, right? So she's like she's like throwing out the code words for him to say, so he has to say something back. And you're like sitting there, like, I hope she doesn't like kill this man because she has like so like conflicting feelings now because of things she's learned about her parentage or what have you. And like he's just trying to find her, and he has. And then like they finally like just unite, and it's just it's like so touching. Like
yeah, no.
it's so like there's such a sense of relief and like satisfaction because you've gone through this whole journey with both of these characters and they finally like found each other and everything's not as whether or not everything like works out for the best ever, it's still like there's solace here and like okay, we can get out of this situation finally together. And so it's the build of the action combined with the emotion of the sequence, it just really works for me. So I love this whole set, this whole like final like 6 minute chase goes on and everything. It's great.
Incredible. And just uh DiCaprio said that to cast Chase Infinity when they cast her, he just really wanted to keep her safe. Not that she couldn't take care of himself, but he just felt this bond with her. And so you don't want her to shoot him, but then you don't want anything happening to her. And you already established that this guy is pretty deadly. And then, yeah, it's just a smart scene. I guess that's everything about it comes together to work beautifully. So I love that. Okay, my last one. I'm just gonna go Sisu Road to Revenge, which is the train battle, because nothing has brought me more joy this year than this scene. I've said a few other things, but just so he's on this train and he sneaks through a couple compartments, and there's one thing where he like stabs a guy to death, but then the blood starts falling on a guy's face through like there's bunks and like there's people. He kills this guy who's sleeping on this top little area, but it's cloth sack they sleep on, so the blood's dripping on another guy. Then he crawls underneath someone else's where he's sleeping, but then he rolls on this glass thing that goes deep into his back, and then he hits a mousetrap, which is
the
so
mousetrap.
silly.
The mousetrap is the silliest bit. And it's like that's so perfect. It's just like of all things, a mousetrap.
I've never laughed hard. I haven't laughed harder this year. And then he eventually gets through and he gets on top of a train, but then something happens where he gets hit by I don't know, something on the tracks, and he flies back into one of the so he does all this work, then he gets knocked all the way back and lands in a train that has to kill everybody. And it I don't want to spoil too much, but like there's a scene where he's fighting this guy in this sink and he's stabbing this guy in the leg with forks, and then the guy's taking the fork from his leg and then stabbing Sisu in the back with the forks that were just in his leg. And I don't want to give it, but there's a rocket scene in this where it becomes Looney Tunes. Like it's just a Looney Tunes show, and it's absolutely hilarious. And it's such a, you know what's crazy too is Sisu 2 is so smart because he wants to go get his home, pack it up, bring it back with him. It's such an easy structure for a film. Like, I want my home. This is where my family was. I'm going to take it apart piece by piece, transport it back. All he wants to do is transport it back. The Russians don't want him to do it. And it's just a gorgeous, hilarious, bloody, brutal thing. And it's hilarious. And I love it so much. So yeah, that's my last pick.
Season 2 is a real joy. What's the director's name too? Because everything he's done I've liked.
He did Rare Exports. I mean, this guy
is Jamari Helander. He did that bit. Was a Big Game with Sam Jackson as the president.
The best arrow shot ever.
Yeah, I don't know what his plans are as far as like what he wants to keep doing, but like, if he wants to keep making Sisu movies, I'm all for it. If America wants to bring him over, let him do his thing because he knows what he's doing. Give him a fucking Bond movie. Like, he'd be great. It's just kind of, he gets it. He gets like how to do this stuff.
Everything he's done has been good. You are 100% correct about that.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Great kill in Big Game too. So watch it. You'll know what I'm talking about. Lightning round. You want to do 3, then I'll do 3, and then I'll do the awards.
Sure. Okay, so 3-3.
Yeah.
Okay. Den of Thieves 2 has the Den of Thieves 1 was Heat, Den of Thieves 2 is Ronin, and it has a big mountain car chase that happens. That's like pretty cool. Fan.
Best wheezing of 2025.
Like, One of Them Days, the comedy of Keke Palmer and SZA. There's a big hoe fight in the middle of that one.
Big Booty Bernice.
Big Booty Bernice. I quite enjoyed that. It's a lot of fun. And then Paddington in Peru has a nice homage to Raiders of the Lost Ark with a boulder chase that's extended because the boulder keeps chasing them all over this like maze in Peru, which is quite funny. So,
wow, perfect. Let's see. I'll do the leg fight in Predator Badlands because
yeah.
It's a pair of legs. It's half of it's Elle Fanning, and she plays a character called Thea, but her legs are separated from her, so her top half is fighting somebody and her legs are fighting somebody. I've never seen that before, and it's amazing. And then Phoenician Scheme, I love when Benedict Cumberbatch and Benicio del Toro are chasing each other around. There's a great rug pull in it that just made me really happy. Like, and it's just the two of them are just running all over the place, ducking and dodging and saying amazing dialogue. And Benedict Cumberbatch just looks insane.
Yes.
Like, there's a bandaged arm. I love, like, they roll downstairs. They have a pottery fight. They hold 2 pieces of pottery. There's this great overhead shot. There's light fixtures. Benicio del Toro's convinced he won't die. He's like, I won't die. I never do. He gets like the rug pulled. There's like, I wrote slapstick del Toro, and then there's a great mini bottle throw. So I'm going to do that, which I love. And then in Influencers, the final fight between CW and Madison, there's a really good bit involving an 8-ball. And it's very silly and kind of, it's almost perfect because they're both like in shape. They're both tough, but like they don't fight. No one's, one of them's a killer, but I don't think that these two have ever been in like this war of,
sure,
and they're both kind of all dressed up and like they're like, it's so fun. She throws this ball, like 8-ball at it. So Madison throws the 8-ball at CW catches it, and she's like, haha, but then another ball hits her in the face. And up to this point, it's not really a comedy. And then the kid from Letterkenny just gets obliterated. So I love that. And it's a really fun fight. So I'll take that one.
Let's see. Captain America, Brave New World. Not a great movie, but you do get to see Red Hulk versus Captain America. I'm not against that. That's fun. Mickey 17. There is a big snowy battle at the climax of that movie that I quite enjoyed with all these the inhabitants of the world and versus the kind of the forces of stupid humans. And it's good stuff. And Novocaine has a pretty good kitchen fight in there.
Best use of oil I've seen. And then let's see, Reflection and Dead Diamond. That there's like a restaurant fight, which I'll talk about more later. In War 2, there's a grenade scene where this dude just walks into a room spinning grenades at people, and it's my second favorite grenade scene of the year. And then in Chainsaw Man, I mean, the whole second half is a fight, but I like the pool scene between Reza and that serial killer. Where she just busts a rear naked choke and just it's like a chase where you think she's the prey, and she just destroys this really horrifying villain who just he's like, yeah, I couldn't kill this guy, so I killed his family, and that guy committed suicide. But yeah, when Reza just killed like takes this dude out, no problem. I love that scene. The rain fight by the pool. It's good. It's a good bit.
All right.
Chainsaw Man's good. The movie's on that
Chainsaw.
movie stayed in my memory.
It rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sinners, the big
Yeah.
battle royale with the vampires, I think is a pretty worthwhile. Freaky Tales,
Die, Nazi scum.
Sleepy Floyd with a sword.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, gets some people done there. And Warfare. That
Oof.
movie has a number of sequences that are pretty well staged. I'm trying to think of one particular one. There's an earlier one where some of our guys get injured, but like it's pretty intense and what have you. That it really plays around with like the dirt of the scene and like the clouds of dust or what have you. So it, like makes it very foggy and whatnot. But it's like it's well conceived while being like gritty and real.
That's a problem. Like that's one of my favorite movies of 2025, but it's just so realistic. There's no eight balls or there's no Adkins. So you're just watching this really tense, really well made film with an excellent sound design, but it's just all around solid, if that makes sense. There's no grenade fights or tummy punches. So
Correct. There's no tummy punches in Warfare.
I'm gonna do 40 Acres. There's a final fight in the basement where I like one of my favorite lines of 2025. I really like 40 Acres a lot. Watch it. It's an underseen film that more people need to watch. I like when our guy Marco Zorar has a bathroom fight. He plays a guy called Cayenne and he fights Josh Hartnett in a bathroom in Fight or Flight. That's great. And then Weapons, the end fight in the house when it's Archer versus James and Brolin's just chucking a guy around a house. Just and everyone in the theater started laughing because he's just ragged out. He's grown manning this kid, and it's really funny. So that's my third. Oh man, I left out a bunch.
All right. I have Havoc.
Oh yeah,
The nightclub shootout fight. That's a lot of fun.
Really good.
That's like the most pure like Gareth Evans being like, let's do this thing and like
Yeah.
getting rapid fire guns and elaborate fight choreography and what have you. It's fun stuff.
Ellie,
Thun-
really, I like Jessie May Lee, who plays Ellie in that movie. She's really good. Like I like
yeah.
her as a partner. She pops.
Thunderbolts. There's a couple action scenes I really like in Thunderbolts. I like the limo chase quite a bit. But when they're fighting, quote unquote, Bob, all of them are using their, abilities or what have you. And Bob and this, what's Bob's? What's the name of it? That he becomes. Regardless, he
Super
just
Bob.
like Super Bob. He just stops them in their tracks with like anything because he's just like all powerful at that point. And it's Sentry. It's a good sequence that like just like the watching the Thunderbolt, like watching this team constantly get their ass kicked, just like very humorous. And so watching this scene play out, it's like, oh yeah, okay, these guys are they're outmatched. They got to find something else to do here to make this work. Then the other Mission Impossible sequence, the submarine, the submersible, like that whole bit is just. Yeah, you watch that in IMAX and you're like, what else is movies for? Like, this is it. You're like, this is great.
So I have about 20 more left. Should I just go through them real fast, or do you want to keep doing 3 and 3?
I keep doing 3 and 3. I got a lot left.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. So I really love In Cloud. It's a 2024 film, but I watched in 2025. There's a really good warehouse gun battle with some good twists that I enjoyed. I also think the space chase in Fantastic Four is a good time. I know that she's like giving birth and everything, but it's just like she's giving birth and she's like giving birth and has to keep the ship alive, but then surfers chasing them, and it's propulsive and it's fun, and it's like easily my favorite fight of that film. It's a really well staged scene. And then Ghost Killer I love. So there's this girl who picks up a bullet cartridge, and then she gets the soul of a hitman attached to her, and so she's going to help this hitman you know do this mission so that he can go to the other world. But there's like this scene where she's never been in a fight before, and he takes over her body and she just kills some people. But then when he transfers out of her, she's like, oh, that hurt. Like punching people hurts. So I like that he's an expert fighter and he can control her body, but she's not used to combat. And it's just a really funny bit. So I'm going to take that one from Ghost Killer.
All right. Let's see. Final Destination Bloodlines, the whole skyscraper opening sequence.
Yeah.
You mentioned Phoenician Scheme. Karate Kid Legends. I like the
Yeah.
tournament stuff going on at the end there. I thought it's fun. It's effective.
Maybe we'll watch
And
Into the Badlands again.
yeah.
That kid's in it.
And Predator Killer of Killers has both that Viking fight that I really enjoy and the ninja fight that I really enjoy. I think those are really stellar action sequences in animation form.
Yeah, those are legit. Look, I'm gonna do the amateur when he fights the lady, Rami Malek, and he just gets toasted by her.
Okay.
I don't know. It's not that was kind of fun. Lone Samurai, I probably should have talked about it more, but it has like a 30-minute beach battle where a samurai battles cannibals. That's pretty great. And then Heads of State. I like Jack Quaid. Speaking of Jack Quaid again, the bunker battle. And also there's a fun Eastern European fight, but I do like when Jack Quaid is going off in his bunker. There's some fun to be had there.
Yeah, Jack Quaid's fun in that movie.
Yeah.
For his bit. Not a huge fan of the How to Train Your Dragon live action remake, but I mean, if you're gonna give me a giant dragon on a big screen, I'm not gonna say no. So like, by the time they get to the giant dragon versus the little dragon, I'm like, well, they did it. Like it looks neat. Like so,
Yeah.
yeah, all right, cool. 28 years later, when
Oh,
that whole chase scene when Samson's chasing him across the land bridge back to for the causeway to back to the
yeah.
island. Like obviously 28 years later movies are full of all kinds of chase or whatnot, but that sequence in particular is just shot so interestingly with like the Aurora Borealis on top of them and everything. It's like a mix of Danny Boyle's filmmaking and whatever green screen stuff they're doing, and just the intensity of fucking Samson chasing them across the fucking causeway. Like
The
it's
high
really great.
knees.
Yeah, so that's good stuff.
Do you have
Oh, I
one
think
more?
that's two. Sorry.
Okay, yeah.
The Jurassic World Rebirth, I think the T-Rex attack is pretty stellar as
Yeah.
far as like and watching the behind the scenes on it, where it's like, yeah, they threw my guy underwater and had a big model T-Rex head just popping in the water and everything, trying to chomp at him. It's like, good, yeah, they did it practical. That's fun. But it's like it's the kind of scene I've wanted to see in a Jurassic World movie, where it's like, yeah, the water is preventing him from getting him exactly. It's a good way to hide, but also you're still stuck underwater. There's a dinosaur above you. Like, yeah, cool stuff. I like that one quite a bit.
Great raft. Whoever built that raft needs a raise.
Yeah, the Rav works. I mean, it's just staying on Jurassic Rebirth. I think the boat chase in general too, when they're trying to get
Yeah.
after the big whale like one, the mall, the what is it, the mall
Mosasaurus?
Mosasaurus. I think that whole sequence is pretty thrilling to watch as they're like going after it and trying to like get its DNA or whatever. It's good stuff.
Screen gets screened.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take. I maybe should have picked this earlier, but I love the K-pop Demon Hunters fight when they're like, this is how it's done aboard
Mhm.
the airplane. So they
Done,
realize
done.
that there are these demons gonna attack them, but then I listen to this soundtrack all the time with my daughter. It was like on all my Spotify rap topped everything, but it's still not old for me. But it's on this airplane and they're fighting these demons, but they're also trying to heat up their ramen, but they have to wait 3 minutes, so they're trying not to spill their ramen because they're hungry because their
That's
plane
right.
was taken over by demons. But not only is it a good song, but like the fighting in the song matches up. The fighting matches up with the song, and there's this cool use of colors. And also one of my favorite shots of like, yeah, probably of 2025 is like the front of the plane comes off, but then they look out the window and then this wing gets ripped off, and you just see these demons floating away. And it's a really neat shot. And then and like it ends with what I think Mira going, yeah, this plane is trashed. They like slug their ramen and then they dive in the sky and they're just beating up demons there. And then they perform beating up demons. And it's a awesome intro to the movie. And I love it so much. It's a great scene.
It establishes everything you need to know that they're K-pop stars and they're demon hunters. I really
Oh
like
man.
it. I like when
Oh,
movies get to the point like that.
oh, so good. And then in the Lost Lands, it's not great, but Bautista has a weapon where it's like two snakes. It's like
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
and I want more of it, but there wasn't. And then I'll do, you know what? You gave me this one, but I'm just gonna do it anyway. Under Fire. I think it's a
Oh
really
yeah.
neat,
Yeah.
Mason Gooding, I think, does some really good work, and so does Dylan
Sprouse.
Sprouse. Yeah, I think that one is a good scene. And I guess if I had to take one in particular, man, I don't know. It's like just one long good action film, and I like it, and I think it's really well made and it's fun.
Yeah. I think it works really well with what it's got going for it. I'm trying to think of things I'm saving for the awards part. But
Yeah.
there's the Superman fighting Dark Superman. But the bit where he's he's fighting this thing and even the dog is like helping out at this point, and the world's like splitting in half. And then it's like, what's the solution to this to like finally get rid of this fucking guy? And he's like, all right, fine. And he dislocates his whole shoulder and throws him into a bus, and the bus knocks him into a black hole, and then he pops his shoulder back in. It's like that's super. That's cool. Like, I haven't seen the old shoulder pop in a while, let alone from a superhero. Like, so it's like great. That's good stuff. Let's see. Speaking of giant superhero movies, Fantastic Four versus Galactus. You mentioned the Silver Surfer stuff and like the chasing through the space stuff. I think the I would have liked a bit more city chaos and not everyone just being underground, sure. But I did get to see the Fantastic Four fight Galactus in a movie this summer, so like I'm not opposed to that. There's a whole bit with Invisible Woman using her mommy strength to destroy, push Galactus farther than he's ever been pushed before. And I was like, yeah, cool, good stuff. And the bad guys too. There's a sequence where they have to get inside of a spaceship before it basically enters interstellar orbit, and it's great. It's like I like the scale of these bad guys movies quite a bit. I like how the animation flows and the fact that there's this whole sequence where they're on the outside of a spaceship trying to get to like the door to get inside before they're too far into space. It's really well done. It uses their team work together. It's funny, but it's like thrilling to watch also, just seeing the bad guys in action like that.
And I guess if we're doing animation, I'll go to Zootopia 2, the opening chase. That one's a lot of fun when they're chasing after him. Then like what that Dick gets stuck in a tuba when they go through the parade and they have to stop it before it levels the parade. And they're chasing the snake. That's a or no, they're chasing a guy who from who has a snake and then escapes. But that's a really fun action scene. And then let's see, Frankenstein has a great head punch, which makes me happy. And then the gorge, I think maybe just there's a scene where they're on the side of a mountain in a car being pulled up the side of the mountain. And I was like,
that's fun.
I was like, this is good. And then I don't know, it's a really high concept sci-fi film that I'm happy got made. So I like that too. And I also like adult Miles Teller. I think he's pretty good. And Anya Taylor-Joy is always good, but I like the cavern scene at the end there.
I wanted to enjoy the gorge more, but it does have its moments that shine pretty
Yeah.
well, so I'm not against that at all. Back to weapons again. There's two like big chase moments that I really enjoy. One's like when Benedict Wong is running through a convenience store, chasing after Julia Garner. That's
Yeah,
entertaining
yeah.
to say the least. But then obviously there's another chase at the end of that movie when some people recover from their spell, and old Aunt Gladys is trying to get away. And doesn't quite make it, but the chase itself, it does some of my favorite things where it's like stationary shot and it's all peaceful, and then everything gets destroyed, and like something goes from one side of the screen to the other side of the screen. Let alone having like a passerby just being like, "Huh," like watching it happen. It's always the best. Let's see, the long walk, the whole getting up the hill sequence at night when it's raining and stuff,
Oh,
where like it's an excuse for them to like get rid of a lot of kids in one scene, but it's like, boy, this is intense. But it fits as like an action sequence as far as like, oh, they got to walk harder than they've ever walked before just to make it through this whole pretty unfortunate situation here. So that's good stuff. And then the goat battle and him, one goat
yeah.
to rule them all, and it's shot really intriguingly. I liked him more than most people.
I'm a hammer.
I get that it has its flaws or whatnot, but I liked stylistically what it was going for, and I think Marlon Wayans gives a pretty basically I think a career best performance in that movie. But there is a final battle between the goats, and it does the job.
Love it. And then I have two left.
I got like five.
I got Dust Bunny. I've now seen Mads. Well, he had in Pusher 2 had nunchucks, but I've now seen him again with nunchucks, but
Hmm.
battling people wearing a tracksuit, which makes me happy. And then Thunderbolts, we've talked about that, but I like that when they're fighting each other specifically. There's a scene where they throw a knife and it blocks somebody, and then someone else catches it. Like it's a good 5 seconds of action that I really enjoyed there. And let's see. I don't think I have anything else. I think I've talked about everything I got
Okay,
here.
let me just run through these real
Yeah.
quick. Tron Ares has a light cycle
Oh
chase. Who doesn't like a light cycle chase in the Tron movies? You
crap! I love
mentioned
that movie.
Yeah, I know you're a fan. Yeah, so you mentioned Frankenstein, but I'll just say Frankenstein versus the crew at the beginning of the movie because he's doing all. He throws one guy into fire. He throws one guy in his head. He punches one guy like 3 feet in the air. There's a lot of fun stuff there. The hotel escape and the Running Man, I think, is a fun sequence where Glenn Powell is trying to outwit his way out of this whole multi-story hotel. There's explosions and whatnot. And it's fun. Marty Supreme versus Penn Jillette of all people. That's not an action scene I would have saw coming, but there we are. And finally, Neat Satu has plenty of amazing action in it. That animated movie that made $2 billion is jam packed with like stylish action sequences. There's a fight. There's a lot of fights in that movie, but there's one, I don't know, I forget, like late in the game where there's a bunch of people with weapons and it's pretty cool. Like it's hard to narrow down the stuff in that one. And without getting into too many details, but as far as action goes, Surratt has an interesting approach to action late in the game, as far as how characters can survive a certain kind of thrilling scenario. So there.
Real quick, the rescue, the safe trunk in Shadow Force. I like that chase scene where they put the kid in the
I've yet
trunk.
to see that one. I want to see. That's a Jackie Chan one, right? Shadow
No,
Force.
that's with
Shadow Force. No,
Shadow
that's the other one.
Force.
That's the one with oh my God,
Omar Sy and
with Omar Sy and
Kerry Washington and
Kerry
Method
Washington.
Man.
Another movie that we're the only ones that are fans of it.
But there's an action trunk, which makes me happy.
Action trunk.
Working Man, I don't know, man. He just kills everybody. It's kind of hard to pick. But also,
I didn't have anything for Working. I mean, there's like it's competent, but like Beekeeper had stuff to mention. Working Man, not so much as far as that goes.
And you're right. Red Sonja has good production design. I like Matilda Lutz. And then there's a kitchen fight in G20. Not great, but there's still a kitchen fight, so I have to mention it.
Still a kitchen fight, yes.
Yeah. So I gotta bring that up. And then
you mentioned action trunk. Sinners also does have an action trunk as well.
Yes, it does.
There's a key action trunk in that movie.
I love an action trunk. And then Tornado has some good trudging in the desert, but there's not too much action.
Not too much, standout action. Shadow's Edge is the Jackie Chan movie I'm thinking of. That's what I was like confused.
And no Megan 2.0 love. But yeah, let's go into the awards. Best CGI smack 'em up. Do you have a word for this?
Yes, I do. It's the Mr. Terrific scene in Superman.
I knew it.
I was saving a couple of these things here. I think that scene is pretty phenomenal. It's a great kind of like, presented as a big one take thing where Mr. Terrific and Lois Lane arrive at a Lex compound and they're like, stop or whatever. And he's like, whatever. And he puts Lois Lane in a bubble while he proceeds to do like this elaborate whole fight sequence where he's stunning all the different guards around him with using his Mr. Terrific balls. It's good stuff. You got one of those. There's not a ton of needle drops in Superman, but it's one of those scenes where James Gunn's like, let me just throw a fun song on here while we have Mr. Terrific show why he's Mr. Terrific, why he's goddamn Mr. Terrific. Fun
Love
stuff
that
there.
scene.
How about you?
Legends of the Condor Heroes, the Gallants. It's Gao Jin versus Venom West, where this guy, it's like these two incredibly powerful people. They're the Mongolians are about to attack this castle, but then these two superpowered people have this fight in the Mongolian army. They're destroying towers and trebuchets, and it's, what's nice about it is there's like a firm sense of geography. At first, the army's kind of close, but then they hit each other so powerfully that people get blown back and like, okay, move back more, and then they move back more, and then more people get blown away, and it's just these two guys battling in the midst of this army, and it's a really, what's nice about it is you just know where it's happening, and the CGI smack 'em up makes sense between these two, and I like it a lot. So I went Legends of the Condor Heroes, the Gallants. I went with that one. And then best like full-blown action scene you've thought about the most?
So like if it's not one battle after another, which I have thought about a lot, I was thinking about this too, and I'm like, what's the one that like I did just kind of like just couldn't like, like what is it about it that got to me so much? And here it is. It's the final like shootout sequence in Eddington of all movies.
Oh man,
where it's like the movie it makes so many hard turns kind of throughout, like where it's gone from being this like satirical neo-western, and then it becomes like a Coen Brothers thriller, and then it just becomes like an all-out war movie between like Joaquin Phoenix versus, I don't know, incels, like mysterious group of people. But it's like super intense. It's really well shot. There's some great camera work where it's just like it's on Joaquin Phoenix, or it's like tracking him in 360 degrees as he holds this like giant machine gun. And it's like there's humor in it just by nature of how goofy Joaquin Phoenix is. But at the same time, there's like a real tenseness of like, what's going to happen here? Like, where is this all going? And I think it plays that really well. It's very violent, but it also shows me like, is Ari Aster going to make some kind of kick-ass action movie at some point? Because he certainly seems to have the chops for maximizing tension out of gunfights in a way that I hadn't seen from him before. So good stuff there.
Joaquin Phoenix with a big gun. That's a good pick. We've already talked about it a little bit, but I'm just going to go with grenade fight in Ballerina. Because I don't know why, man. I just watched it. I was like, that's a grenade fight. Like I love when she throws the first ones, but it's too many, and then so she like blows out the entire floor and she falls down with it. And then she gets a guy and pushes the door like a metal door against him, and then she blows up. And then there's a scene with this metal table where she like stuffs a grenade on a guy, but then flips him over and she hides on the other side of a metal table. And it's I don't know why, but I just keep thinking about this stupid grenade fight, and like this just the one of if I
It's a
that's
cool
what,
fight.
yeah,
Yeah,
not stupid, but I'm like I don't know why. I was just like I remember watching, just being like, I like this. I really like this
I
grenade
figured it would,
fight.
I figured it would come up again, so I didn't want to mention it. But yeah, the grenade fight's awesome. That's one of my other highlights of just like the year. That's what sold me on thinking it might be like good. Like
Yeah.
as far as when the trailer shows her like beat up a guy, push him behind the door with a grenade, and then pulled the door. Like it's like, yeah, all right, that's great.
Yes, yeah.
I want to see that action. But yeah, I love that whole like the kickoff of that scene's great too, where it's like she's with like the
The
weapons
armor.
sommelier, like the armor guy, and it's you're getting that classic John Wick scene of like, okay, here's all the weapons or whatnot, and then he gets like interrupted, and he's like, okay, and it's like, I don't have anything, I don't have guns on me. What else can I use? Okay, here's a just a bandolier of grenades. I'll just use
Yes.
this to the best of my ability. It's a very the way she plays it too. It's very think on her feet, and I like
Mhm.
that. It makes it feel like this is just naturally what I can come up with right now. That's it's a good scene for sure.
Yeah, I keep thinking about it. I just it's well done. I like it. So yeah, that's that. We'll do best one-on-one fight.
This was tough. I, like you mentioned, Benedict Cumberbatch and Joaquin Phoenix and Benicio del Toro. Like that was one that I thought about. Like it was hard for me to narrow down like the one-on-one fights. I mentioned Superman, but I think like the one that I kept like going back to is the end Predator killer or not end, but the killer's fight with the Viking. I think that one in
Yeah.
particular is just like so like because it's like the first chapter in that film. It's just like what's this gonna be exactly, and it gives me like oh okay this is what we're doing. This is great, and it's just watching this kind of a Viking character this woman like this power like just take on this an unstoppable unstoppable Yautja. Seeing the animation comes alive in like cool ways where it's like, okay, yeah, let's if we're gonna use animation, that means we don't have any limits on our imagination at this point. And they find really creative ways to like make an animated Predator movie work as well as it does and be all as violent as it needs to be and everything. So I really like that one a lot.
Well, I've already talked way too much about it, so I'm just gonna say Baby Assassins 3. Like
Okay.
I love that fight so much. And I had to bring it up in the beginning and end, but I love it. So that goes to that. Best punch. I have a new one
Uh,
for you.
okay.
Okay.
Best punch was like for whatever reason, kick and smack 'em up were like the easy ones for me. These other ones are like, let me narrow this down. Punch, it might be. It's like I'm not you, where I like keep track of punches and like data, have a database of them in my head by the end of the year. So I'd like really like think hard, like what were the good punches that happened. And I think one that really sticks out to me is what it goes back to of all things Novocaine when he's in the is the tattoo parlor at that point where he
Yeah.
like he sticks his hand in the glass to make his hands even more like deadly, and then he gets a good one in on the guy with his fist covered in glass, and it's like the repercussions of this are so terrible, and yet it's so effective. So that's I think where I'm going with best punch.
That's a great one. And so I had a tie. I was thinking Naked Gun. I was thinking Frankenstein.
I figured obviously Naked Gun with the fucking tummy punch, but go on,
But
yes.
I had a late entry, and it's called
Okay,
Holy Night Demon Hunters. And
okay.
it's Don Lee, Ma Don Sak, and
Oh, of course.
he fights demons. So he puts on these little gloves and he just punches out demon. Like he pu- I don't I'm not gonna spoil it, but there's something that happens at the end that was pure joy for me. So
Okay,
it's just him punching demons, and like the movie's very uneven. It's very cheeky. There's some scenes that there's like a found footage scene that's not really needed, but it delivers Don Lee punching demons in their faces, and it's great. So I'm gonna do best punch from Holy Night Demon Hunters.
good.
I love that one. All right, best kick.
This is one that like nobody's gonna have on their list, but I think this one is awesome. It's Michael Jai White in Trouble Man.
Oh,
Trouble Man. It's like I believe he directed it too. It's like a modern update of the blaxploitation movie Trouble Man. Very little in common beyond the fact that it's just like a guy that helps people out, and it's called Trouble Man. But Michael Jai White, of course, is a martial arts extraordinaire, and if there's one thing he knows how to do, it's fucking kick
kick
people.
people.
And so he's got a good final fight in that movie where he kicks. He has a number of like kicks in, but there's one where he does like a spin kick thing and it knocks a guy down. And he like slides back and like runs into like four tables. It's like, oh my God, this is the best. Like just, so that's what I'm going for best kick.
Awesome. This one might sound boring. I brought it up a little bit, but Predator Badlands. It was just
The kicks. Yeah, that's what that magazine's got.
you're just like, a pair of legs. Like I've never seen that before.
Uh-huh.
I've never, ever seen that before. Just the legs walking around from Elle Fanning's legs kicking people.
That's exactly. I was with my friend Scott Mendelson. He's said the exact thing. It's like I've never seen anything like that before in a movie. I'm like, yeah, that's true. I've never seen legs independently fight something like that before. Maybe like Onward, where the legs are
Oh
dancing
yeah.
around a bit, but not on a full-on fight, let
There's
alone a
been just
fight against
hands, right?
cyborgs.
Like there's been evil hands, but we've never
Yeah,
had
evil
legs.
hands. Oh yeah, you give me that all day. But the evil legs, no, haven't seen that a lot at all. You're right.
I love it so much. And then the well, that was awesome. So what was your well, that was awesome?
Oh, I forgot that was a thing.
I
What's
got
well
mine
that?
if you want to think about it.
What's the idea of this
Well,
category?
so Reflection of Dead Diamond. So I was watching that, and there's a scene where this assassin shows up, or this lady shows up. She just like Thai with Thi Mai Nguyen. She plays a deadly assassin called Serpentic, and she shows up to this restaurant, and she wants to play foosball. And but like she takes this guy's face, puts it in the foosball thing, turns it, and his teeth go flying. And they didn't have a stunt coordinator for this, but like all it's basically just guys flashing switchblades. But then she like scratch. She has these nails that pop out that look like Catwoman nails, but they're red. And she's like ripping balls off. She's kicking balls. She's kicking her high heels into people's eyes. She's I mean, it's just the crazy. Like, so let me have my notes here. I took on my notes watching it. So she kills a guy. She has hooks in her hair, so the hooks rip people's faces off. She starts off the fight with two nut shots: foosball killed, bloody balls, throat slit, spike heels, claw hands, hooks in her hair, scratches face, switchblades. Just it's just, and then this song, what 24,000 Bachi song is playing during it, and I remember, and then it ended, and I went, that was awesome. I just I, I remember just seeing it. I went, well, I loved it. No, that was awesome. Like this, where'd that come from? And it's just such a gnarly, stylized, fun action scene. So that's my well, that was awesome scene.
So your reaction, the idea is the scene is you reacting as it being like, I have nothing else, I have no other words except that was awesome. That's
Yeah,
what you're saying. That's
exactly.
that's the idea of the scene. Okay, give me that specific reaction. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, you look at some of these scenes that I've mentioned already, and they pretty much do the job. Then I'll shout out Chainsaw Man again because like
Yeah.
I went from not like last year was great for Chainsaw Man and me because I went from being aware of Chainsaw Man but not having seen it to being like, well, the movie's coming out. Let me check this out. And so I went and caught up on the whole series, being like, well, this rules. Like, I can't wait to see the movie. And I watch the movie, and you get this whole, you know, trip through the world of Chainsaw Man on the big screen, and it becomes both a brilliant action movie as well as like the best rom-com of the year. And
Yeah.
it
Love
has this
triangle and everything. And
and
the
it has this
saddest ending of the year.
it has a sad ending, but it has a terrific soundtrack too. So by the time I got out of it, I'm like, well, that was awesome. Like, so yeah, I think that would be a qualifier for that category right there.
That rocks. And then I came up with two late ones. You didn't have time, but I'm just gonna say best knees and the prosecutor when he knees that guy
Best
in the
knees.
train. And then the joy, like this gave me joy as Sisu Road to Revenge. So those are mine.
Oh, the damn it! I guess I just missed the last two. I like
Oh, I
I
just
caught
added
it.
them now. I just added
Oh,
them
okay. I
today
thought like
because
there's more.
I was rewatching the prosecutor and I'm like, I need to get this in there. I need to get that
Okay.
knee in there. And then just the joy I got from Road to Revenge when he got on that rocket. Like it's just the smile I had was you couldn't match it. So I think we did a good job though, man. We covered them all.
I think we really dug in there. Yes, for sure. That was good stuff.
I always look forward to this and thanks for the time you put into it.
Oh yeah, I'm happy to. You try to keep a compendium of all the action sequences that happen in one year, and it's like difficult. But like it was a packed year full of stuff. So I hope my
Letterboxd and my 2025 action Google Doc was very helpful. Whenever I watch something, I would just write a note, and then I knew when to go back to it. So that helped me like think of. I didn't have to think about it too much later on in the year. Now that was awesome. Well, thank you, man, and make sure to listen to Out Now with Aaron and Abe and Two Black Guys Talk Godzilla. Watch the video.
yeah, check out the video version, please do. Here,
Check out the thumbnails.
check.
Godzilla sucks. No, sorry. You don't do that. Yeah. All right. So for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, for Aaron Neuwirth, this is Movie Sons and Flicks. We'll see you next week.